Okay, we're back again here at the Glass Bead game, and I was going to read a part of a chapter out of Hermann Hesse's The Glass Bead Game, the Magister Ludi, called The Two Poles. The annual game, remembered to this day as the Chinese house game and often quoted, was for Knecht and his friend Tagularius a happy outcome to their labors, and for Castalia and the board's proof that they had done well to summon Knecht to the highest office. Once more Waldsall, the players' village, and the elite had the satisfaction of a splendid and exultant festival. Not for many years had the annual game been such an event as it was this time, with the youngest and most discussed magister in Castalian history making his first public appearance and showing what he could do. Moreover, Waldsall was determined to make up for the failure and disgrace of the previous year. This time no one lay ill. No cowed deputy awaited the great ceremony with apprehension, coldly ringed by the malevolent distrust of the elite, faithfully but listlessly supported by nervous officials. Quiet, inaccessible, entirely the high priest, white and gold clad major piece on the solemn chessboard of symbols, the magister celebrated his and his friends' work. Radiating calm, strength, and dignity, beyond the reach of any profane summons, he appeared in the festival hall in the midst of his many acolytes, conducting step after step of his game with the ritual gestures. With a luminous golden stylus, he delicately inscribed character after character on the small tablet before him, and the same characters promptly appeared on the script of the game, enlarged 100-fold, upon the gigantic board on the rear wall of the hall, to be spelled out by 1,000 whispering voices, called out by the speakers, broadcast to the country and the world. And when at the end of the first act he wrote the summary formula for the act upon the tablet, with graceful and impressive poise gave instructions for the meditation, laid down on the stylus, and taking his seat, assumed the perfect meditation posture in the hall, in the players' village, throughout Castalia and beyond, in many countries of the globe. The faithful devotees of the glass bead game reverently sat down for the self-same meditation and sustained it until the moment the magister in the hall rose to his feet once again. It was all as if it had been many times before, and yet it was all stirring and new. The abstract and seemingly timeless world of the game was flexible enough to respond in 100 nuances to the mind, voice, temperament, and handwriting of a given personality, and the personality in this case was great and cultivated enough to subordinate his own inspirations to the inviolable inner laws of the game itself. The assistants and fellow players, the elite, obeyed like well-drilled soldiers, yet each one of them, even though he might be executing only the bows, helping to draw the curtain around the meditating master, seemed to be performing his own game, inspired by his own ideas. But it was the crowd, the great congregation filling the hall, and all of Waldsall, the thousands of souls who followed the magister down the hieratic and labyrinth ways through the endless multi-dimensional imaginary of the game, who furnished the fundamental chord of the ceremony, the low throbbing bass bell note, which for most simple-hearted members of the community is the best and almost the only experience the festival yields, but which also awakens awe in the subtle virtuoso and critics of the elite, in the acolytes and the officials, all the way up to the leader and the master. It was an exalted festival. Even the envoys from the outside world sensed this and proclaimed it, and in the course of those days a good many new converts were won over to the glass bead game forever. In the light of the triumph, however, Joseph Necht, at the end of the 10-day festival, made some highly curious remarks in summing up the experience to his friend Tagularius. "We may be content," he said. "Yes, Castalia and the glass bead game are wonderful things. They come close to being perfect. Only perhaps they are too much, so too beautiful. They are so beautiful that one can scarcely contemplate them without fearing for them. It is not pleasant to think that some day they are bound to pass away as everything else does, and yet one must think of that."